Life in the fast lane, sure to make you lose your mind. Life in the fast lane, that was a colossal waste of time. Do. It's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you go over the top rope and you bang your head on the ring apron. That's when you feel like a big dope. And they're the worst bumps you can be taking. Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da. Wait! The hardest part of the ring. I shortened up the theme song a little bit for all you crazy cats out there. The entire Bob squad that is out there listening right now. Talking about WWE Fastlane as soon as I can. Why not? Why hang on to it? Because there's a lot on this show I don't want to think about again. So I think let me just record this as soon as it's over, and I'll watch the Austin Orton interview thing later at some point. This is that show. The show that should not be. The show to test if Peacock works. I don't think Peacock's the problem. I'm sure Peacock is just fine. Because some of it was for the birds. So one amazing match, two good ones, and some other things that definitely happened. Let's go to the very beginning. Why not? At the pre-show, I know that Matt Riddle defeated the Retribution Ali guy, Mustafa Ali. Riddle did his wacky finish, the Bro Derek. I don't know what that means. He hit the thing off the second rope. 1, 2, 3. Riddle's to the United States champion. He's the champion of America. He's a champion of the United States. We've had a new president for 2 months, but for about a month or 3 weeks, whenever the hell the chamber was, Matt Riddle has been the representative of the United States as far as WWE is concerned. Okay, just want to make that abundantly clear. That's what that championship means. No, it doesn't. Fastlane starts, and we immediately get a package. Of course we do. And it's brought to us by Old Spice, the best of the better of the cheaper deodorants. I use it because I'm poor. It's okay. It does the trick. I've always had two. I've always had a spare that I usually take with me. Usually when I come back from the lunch break, I do like an extra refreshing because you never know. You just never know. Especially when I lived in New York, because you're walking everywhere, and in the summer is especially gross. That's a fun fact. Okay, but still, for about $4 a stick, you can do okay, because at least it's like blue and smooth, and it's not like the white flaky kind. Why are they still even selling that? I don't understand. And I don't want to be an Axe spray guy, because then I'm never gonna know how much to spray, and it has an odor, and yikes, I don't know the answer. There's a package on Bianca and Sasha, and I do not believe Bianca and Sasha don't like each other. And then they show Bianca and Sasha backstage having an argument about the Somalian guy. And then Sasha and Bianca challenge Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler for the Tag Championships, even though Sasha will be defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Bianca at WrestleMania. We know the two aren't winning the championships. During the first 2 minutes of this match, I thought to myself, Bob, you need to get a job with healthcare. Oh, and Bob, also, the women the challengers should actually just win this. Why? No one would see that coming, and they've got this constant Nia versus Shayna thing going on at the same time anyway, where Nia always looks like the idiot, and that's what this match was about. We start the bell. I always try to take note of this. 9 minutes into the show, the bell for the first match rings. Not too bad. Because at WrestleMania, it's going to be 20. So, 9 minutes into the show, maybe even longer. Nia Jax. So the beginning of this match is all about the story of Sasha and Bianca is completely lost, and I was getting really annoyed because Sasha and Bianca are supposed to have this big match. Bianca's the winner of the Rumble, so isn't that supposed to be important? And the whole story of the match is Shayna's not as smart or competent an athlete and wrestler as Nia Jax, which is laughable, and Nia's browbeating her, and I can go and do this better, and blah, 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 and then Nia Jax goes in there and is, how do you be that big but always in the wrong place? I don't understand the physics there, but she finds a way. Sasha Banks at one point. Bianca takes a ton of heat, which is good. We need to see that though. We need to see Bianca get her ass kicked because we've seen Sasha get her ass kicked. Sasha's been in all the. She's had like 3 of those Hell in a Cells and all the cages and elimination chambers and ladders and this, that, and the other thing. We've seen Sasha go through all of it. We saw Bianca win the Rumble, but we don't know Bianca as well as we know Sasha for the purposes of this program. So we need to see Bianca take a beating and survive it. That's what we need to see her do if we're going to really get behind her. And she does. She does. She sells and she gets banged around by Nia and Shayna. Sort of. Shayna would always have to be screwing it up as if as if Shayna shouldn't be the women's champion most of the time. It's so preposterous. And Sasha, at one point, while she's trying to get that hot tag, she stomps on the ring apron, which is the hardest part of the ring, to get people to clap. So the computers start clapping for her when she's on the apron, just stomp, 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 and stomping away, which just made me chuckle. Those silly little things. Michael Cole and Corey Graves, I liked them here. They were doing their best to explain, the reasons certain moves were working, and they talked a little bit of wrestling here, and still the story of Nia and Shayna, unfortunately. So Nia and Sasha and Bianca get into an argument. I think Nia had a submission on probably Shayna, because why would Nia be in that position? And Bianca went to break up Nia's attempted breakup. So Nia, of course, shoves Bianca back. Bianca stumbles into Sasha, which breaks up the submission. Sasha yells at her and calls her a rookie, and pie faces Bianca. And Bianca had this great reaction, like, okay, no, and it was just Bianca getting pissed and frustrated is just so believable. It's just different how she does it. And this was the beginning of the first time I thought these two might actually not like each other. We might actually believe we can see a fight at WrestleMania. Of course, there's a roll up from Shayna, 1, 2, 3 on Sasha, and they get out of there. So the two baby faces here. Match gets 36,208 stars, but great slap, wonderful, beautiful, beautiful slap of the night. Sasha's hand across Bianca's face. And Sasha walked out, called her a rookie. And this isn't Sasha turning heel. Derp, 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 everyone's turning heel, turning face. Derp, derp. Shut up with that. No, she's assuming the heel role for the time being. She's not attacking Bianca from behind. She's not cheating to win yet that we know of. She's not aligning with other heels. She's not doing any of that. She's just being a bitch now because she's mad at this situation. She's frustrated with a less experienced wrestler, and she's letting Bianca know this is still her house. That's what's going on there. And my only nitpick, and it's a nitpick too, because I was so happy with how now these two were believable, and they were just jaw jacking each other's face. It was great. A little bit of a nitpick. Bianca was in the ring, just kind of talking to herself, and a little bit of the invisible wall syndrome, where Sasha's like 25 feet away. Like, why can't Bianca just go outside the ring and fight her there? I don't know. But because it was the first time I was like really caring about this, and now I'm excited to see the match. So it accomplished what it was supposed to. So cool. So I was happy with it. So again, nitpick. Let it go. 36,208 stars. Then stupid goddamn Shane McMahon. We show a photo of him saying he's selling an injury from his awesome old man MMA training session. He comes out of a room that says doctor/trainer. The guy can't decide. Shane is on a crutch with an ice pack on a leg. Elias, we see where this is going, and Riker bother him. Okay, I think anyone who's not dumb, anyone who's at least as old as the only person Braun won a tag team championship with, can understand what's going on here. Big E has new music, or there's a Big E Apollo package. There's always a package. Every match has a package before this. So Apollo and Big E, this huge package in our faces, on our shoulders, just a big throbbing veiny package for the both of them. Apollo enters, Big E enters. I keep forgetting because I don't have TVs. I never see SmackDown stuff. That Big E has non-New Day music, which is confusing. Do Kofi and Woods their matches don't make Hulu, so I don't know. Do they still have Big E's voice in their entrance? I hope they do. I really hope they do, because that's kind of hilarious and odd in all of itself. So they're all kinds of shit talking going on here. Big E was great. He fired up. He beat the tar out of Apollo. I thought it was a little weird to hit that spear thing where the guy's standing on the ring apron is the hardest part of the ring, but Big E kept doing his splash where the guy's upper half is on the ring apron is the hardest part of the ring. And Big E was great here. Kind of a wacky finish. I think I see what they were going for. Two guys trying to pin each other. It looked like a kind of a weird roll up, kind of like a sideways fisherman thing, and Big E kind of bridged at the last second. So it was like both shoulders down, 1, 2, 2 3/4. E bridges up, and I don't think the announcers quite caught it, but Apollo, I think maybe he jumped the gun, like 370 stars, 370 stars. The match against. I have a system. It's a very important system. Durr. That's why I use random numbers that don't mean anything. Because the systems of stars are stupid. They're made with people who don't know anything about wrestling. But I think Apollo, before the referee had time to raise Big E's hand and let us know what happened, and before the announcers had a second to like come to that conclusion as well, Apollo jumps E and he gives him a bunch of the angle slams and he yells at him. So I imagine they're going to do this match again in Mania. I liked it. It wasn't too long. I don't think the ring action was 10 minutes. I bet you it was in the 7 or 8 range. 370 stars I mentioned. Okay. We have a commercial for Old Spice, which was featuring that Rick Bugen guy who used to be, what the hell was his name? Eric Bugenheim or something like that. It was really cool, and then they made it lame. But anyway, he was Joe Average, I think his name was. He was in a. They were selling deodorant, and twice in a deodorant commercial, they changed to 24/7 championship. Tozawa comes out. Is this the best week for Asian stereotypes? I'm sorry. Is it what? Yikes! He's Asian and it's offensive when he does it. Like, oh Jesus! I want to ask him to tone it down. But anyway, like he's doing his impression of us doing an impression of him. Like, it's not good. But anyway, R-Truth both loses and wins back the 24/7 championship. So we have two major title changes on his show. They defended a title in a commercial and changed it twice. Elias and stupid goddamn Shane McMahon and Jackson Riker. Elias is going to play a song. Shane, of course, has to come out. He's already sitting there, actually. He interrupts Elias and he makes Elias look stupid and dumb and gullible. And Shane is so smart. And Elias has to wrestle stupid goddamn Braun Strowman, if you didn't see that. Strowman beats him up in a match we have seen 400 times. Obviously, Power Slam 1, 2, 3. Match gets negative 3 billion stars. Okay. I don't think anything happened, and I don't care. Riddle is backstage with a scooter, and he's bothering Shinsuke Nakamura before his match. Seth Rollins wrestles Shinsuke Nakamura. A bit of a package before this. They showed a package. Oh, I'm sure they showed a package before Elias and Braun, or did they? I don't remember. This is a fun back and forth match. I think I started dozing off a little bit. My eyes started closing. I was a little tired. Seth Rollins hit the curb stomp 1, 2, 3. But Seth kept referencing throughout the match Cesaro swinging him around 22 times. So I'm assuming Seth and Cesaro is what we're going for. That would make Nakamura the guy to beat on the way to Cesaro. But nevertheless, it's good stuff for still Nakamura and Cesaro. It'll benefit Nakamura in the long run still. And another package for Rhea Ripley. We have a no DQ match between Drew McIntyre, who has a sword and he summons the Thundercats, and Sheamus, who does not have a sword. Drew McIntyre has Braveheart face paint. Just wanted you to know that, because he's going to war. I completely fell asleep. I woke up to the announcement of Drew winning. I don't know how this match was. I think at one point I was in and out of it, and I guess I think Sheamus did like a white noise bump through the announcer's table or something like that, which oddly enough is what Thunder Rosa used to beat Britt Baker at the end of the AEW show last week on the big Lights Out match everyone was talking about. And lights were out for me because I was unconscious. Okay. That was good writing there, Bob. So Drew wins the thing, and he's gonna still wrestle Bobby Lashley no matter what a WrestleMania. Okay, maybe later I'll rewatch it. Maybe I won't. Next we have a package. All the Orton, Alexa, funny voices, fire, black goop, burning dummies, four dummies. Stuff happened. I'm gonna try to get through this. So Randy Orton does his entrance in his tights and a sweat jacket thing he's been wearing, and black goop falls out of his mouth. And Alexa Bliss enters, and I'm going to say this during her entrance before we get to the later activities. During her entrance, I'm like, man, I hope I'm not a pervert because I'm a little bit aroused here. Anyway, there's shenanigans. Orton charges, and from a different angle, you see fire from over the ring, and Alexa's doing it, laughing at him, but I felt like she was laughing at us for watching. And then Alexa has carries powers from the Stephen King movie It. Okay. And the announcers, this is the best part. The announcers have to use their somber voice for the entire thing, which is preposterous. Somehow that makes it dumber. Let them have some fun. I mean, problem is how much fun you give them an inch, especially Graves. You give them an inch, they're going to take a mile and get stupid with it. But oh, God forbid they get stupid with this. And, yeah, it was the lighting thing that almost fell on Orton. Orton's like, "You're trying to get me killed." Alexa throws another fireball that nearly misses or whatever. Or actually, it hit just as much as the last one she threw, but this one he pops up. And then Orton, at one point he charged her and he missed and he hit his shoulder on the ring post. And I thought he was gonna like break his collarbone again, like he did in 2008 or something like that. And I was really like, man, don't get injured during this match of all the things. How'd you get hurt? Oh, wrestling Alexa Bliss. They looked. I'm all over the place in here. During the beginning, before the theoretical lockup, as they rang the bell, the two of them in the ring together looked preposterous. Orton's a tall dude, and she's 5 foot. I think she's just 5 feet. It was so ludicrous. A burnt, charred up zombie hand cuts its way through the ring canvas, which had to be pre-taped because there's no holes in the canvas for the match following, and grabs Orton's ankle. And then, of course, Orton stares at the burnt up. So Fiend comes out looking like parts 6, 7, and 8 of Friday the 13th, where Jason Voorhees is like burnt up zombie guy in a hockey mask. Fiend looks exactly like I kind of thought he would. He'd be a burnt up guy with the mask burned to his face. I can't say it was a disappointment. It was just like, I saw it in person, and that's just not as good an idea. Because at some point he's got to wrestle in that. He probably doesn't, I guess. He's the best at being on TV without being on TV. This is the first time he's been on TV all year, and he's been on TV every week, sort of. So I think Alexa jumps off the second buckle. She just kind of shoves Orton into the Sister Abigail move, which, if he was in a match with Bray or even a match with The Fiend, one of those wouldn't beat him. But because he's in a match where nothing happens, he takes the finish once and he's completely dead unconscious until we go to another scene. And I said scene because that's what is this show, okay? Let's talk about the cover. For whatever reason, I thought it was a good idea to have Alexa straddle Orton. And again, it's not 100% genital to genital, like she's up on his belly like a little bit, but still, she's there. The thing is, she's there for a long time, and she's looking backwards up at Fiend, so she's like thriving and breathing and like still pretty much grinding. She's giving him pretty much like the how do I oh yeah like the 18 and up like all nude but no alcohol lap dance where they're all like on you grind but not yes but no but you know it's enough, especially when you're 18. It's more than enough. I mean, she's there. She's still writing them. I mean, Jesus. Um, and she's looking back, and it was just for a long time, and it was, first as a man, as a red-blooded man, you kind of go, that's interesting, and then it just goes on for a while, and you're like, I don't feel good about myself for enjoying this particular aspect of whatever just happened. The cover, that cover stole the Fiend's thunder. Because I wasn't still thinking about the burnt up Fiend when this damn thing ended. Everyone was thinking about that cover. I go on Twitter and people talk about that cover. Because if Fiend does wrestle with all that makeup and crap on him, it's got to fly off during a wrestling match. You get away with it for the one move, but you can still see the normal flesh through the eye sockets. Like, you can't. I mean, he wouldn't be in it every week after week, but you wouldn't. Is he gonna stand there, sit in a chair for 6 or 8 or 9 hours before WrestleMania or on a day of every pay per view just to do this shit? That the practicality won't work. I don't know the answer. That cover. Let's go to the main event. We have a package. Edge is the enforcer for the Horsemen. No, he's the enforcer for the match of Daniel Bryan challenging Roman Reigns. And I know everyone knows Daniel Bryan's not going to win this match. I can't believe this match was as good and as effective as it was, considering what it followed. Because how did a wrestling match just suddenly appear after this? How do you do a wrestling match after this? Well, they did. Um, Great story told here. This might be my favorite non NXT WWE match of 2021. Probably, yeah. The second one being the one where Alexa rides Randy Orton. God damn. No, don't do that. Okay. So Daniel Bryan's teasing Roman, and he's playing around. He's grabbing a single leg here, a single leg there. He trips him up in a couple of heel things. Like, he's really showing he's a far superior grappler to Roman Reigns, and it's frustrating Roman. And eventually Roman catches him and hits a blow or two, and eventually Roman gets to bully him around and hit him, but you can see Roman getting madder and madder and madder. Edge is being 100% perfect angel, neutral good guy, not even jaw jacking. And it takes a while before they eventually do go out of the ring. And that's when the first time, so Reigns should be the one to look at Edge first, and he's, Edge, don't worry about me, worry about what's in the ring, and does everything he's supposed to do. Daniel Bryan went for a dive, and I think Roman was supposed to catch him, but he kind of spun, and it looked like he caught him in a power slam on the floor anyway, which still looked awesome. But then he picks him up, and they go into the ring post, and they do all this stuff. Let me look at my notes here while I see if I'm missing anything. Roman Reigns has some red underwear peeking out, so that's cool. Just awesome dramatic match. Bryan keeps hooking his finish out of nowhere. Paul Heyman again, selling on the outside is great. Roman did very little. I think he only hits one Superman punch, and ultimately, does he even hit a spear on Bryan? I think he does, because they do a ref bump. So we have a situation where the referee accidentally takes Bryan's finish, and I like this. The referee doesn't get nudged, like, shoulder to shoulder from a wrestler and lay unconscious for 2 minutes, which is so silly. He takes Bryan's knee to the face, like his running knee, which makes sense that it would knock the referee completely out because it pins wrestlers. Okay, and the referee rolls out of the ring to begin with. On top of that, awesome. And of course, there's your 1-2. Edge hesitates for a second, but then he runs in, 1-2 kick out. Everything's all hunky dory where it should be. And thankfully, they did not do the predictable Bryan stands up and yells at Edge. They didn't do anything like that. Instead, Bryan hooks his hold, and Roman's yelling at Edge. I think maybe Roman hit the spear after the ref bump, and then there was a kick. I don't know, but either way, they're yelling, and Roman's in a submission hold. He's in the yes lock. He can't get out, and Edge is just waiting. He's not talking any shit. He's just waiting, and he's waiting, and he's waiting to see if there's a tap, and doing the best he can, because he is still not a trained official. Okay, Jey Uso out of nowhere, super kick on Edge, super kick on Bryan. Jey goes out, grabs the chair, gets back in there, swings the chair. Bryan ducks the chair, hits the knee finish on Jey. Bryan takes that chair, he goes to swing it on Roman. I think Roman. Roman ducks or moves out of the way. Chair goes into Edge's shoulder. And man, I hope Edge isn't hurt and this whole thing doesn't get fucked up because Edge did a bit of a block with his left hand and he was shaking that hand right after because those damn things, those will break your fingers in your hand like they don't tickle at all. I hope he's all right there. But what happens after? There's an accidental chair on Edge. And then somehow we get back to the S-Lock on Roman. And drag it out. And Roman is looking glassy-eyed and it's just believable. And I don't know how Roman got there, or if he's just letting himself half suffocate or whatever the hell. But Roman does this tap, and it's like the gentlest tap. And thankfully there's cameras, but it was a good gentle tap. It was different instead of this big dramatic. It was like he barely had the strength to tap. Like he just wouldn't give up until his body just gave out. Edge gets up from the opposite corner, doesn't see this tapping. He's mad, takes the chair to Bryan, takes the chair to Roman, takes the chair to Bryan again, and he leaves pissed off. And he shakes his hair, and his man bun stayed intact, and he's grr, 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 he got very upset. And then a second referee. Here's my nitpick again of a very good match with a nitpick. One of the best match I've seen all year from non-NXT WWE. And okay, they have a second referee ready, but why did it take 6 or 7 minutes to get the second referee out there? Yes, Edge is the backup, but he's the special enforcer. Edge's existence is pretty much to make sure Jey Uso doesn't interfere. So why wouldn't they just, if they had another referee ready, why would they just sit on their hands and let a non-trained referee wrestler with an interest in wrestling either of these guys at WrestleMania just be the referee for this very important match? Why did it take him so long? But whatever. Because all things considered, could have been wackier. They could have, Edge could have been all burnt up, and Daniel Bryan could have been riding Roman Reigns. Silly. And Roman, referee rolls in. Roman just does the roll over. 1, 2, 3, and he beats Bryan. And Tribal Chief holds up the title, the belt, the blue belt. Heyman breathes a sigh of relief, and we continue on our way to Roman versus Edge. Well, there we go. That's what happened. Exactly what happened. So it's not that bad. I had a nap in the middle, so I did okay. Let's do a little house cleaning. Coming up in a couple of weeks, whenever it's WrestleMania week, there's a Monday Night Raw, a Tuesday Night Hall of Fame, a Wednesday and Thursday NXT TakeOver, a Friday SmackDown on YouTube, which I just see clips of, and a Saturday and Sunday WrestleMania, and then a Raw the day after that. That's 8 days in a row of WWE WrestleMania week. I cannot possibly cover all of this on the hardest part of the ring. I'll do my best. I'll probably get Raw and the NXT. Yeah, maybe I'll just wait until the NXT stuff is all over. Maybe with WrestleMania 2, I'll just wait and do like a big WrestleMania one instead of night 1, night 2. I don't know, because then Saturday. Here's the thing: on Saturday the 10th, I have a show that pays some money, and I have to do it. And I won't be seeing Saturday night's WrestleMania stuff live. I'll probably be watching WrestleMania when I get home late, and then the next day WrestleMania live. So I don't know. Be patient. I'm gonna cover as much as I probably can. The Hall of Fame isn't happening. I'm not gonna. I think they're doing it like a Zoom style or something. You don't need me to jump in on that. You don't need me to jump in on this. This is what am I doing here? And that was Fastlane. It is over. If you watched it on Peacock, I hope it worked. I watched it on the network. I'm going to drag out the network thing for as long as I possibly can. and just try to focus on getting a third San Diego job. I had a little episode, not an episode. I was working a fake a fake call center job where you call people all day and there's a wacky quota you got to meet, and they say it's not telemarketing, but it pretty much is. You get them to agree to some bullshit. Like an insurance thing, to enroll in a program for COVID-19 relief, but the real relief is in 3 months you send them some links to some shit they can Google on their own. But anyway, I wasn't meeting their stupid quota, and rather than just them telling the staffing agency that I wasn't meeting the quota, which is how you get these dumb jobs, they lied. True Care at 213-314-5093, pieces of shit. They lied and told the staffing agency that I was dozing off at work, which is not true. I was wide awake. I yawned probably a few times through my mask, as they all do, except when they were walking around the office without their masks, and I stooged them out for that. Um, so now I'm out of work again. So I'm a little nervous. My focus isn't quite on these last few hardest parts of the ring. So if you forgive me for rambling on, and I'm trying to do more of just a recap because you don't need me to recap it. But I can tell you this, as far as this show goes, it's as good as it possibly could have been. I'm glad Alexa Bliss got her big victory on the hardest part of the ring. I'll talk to you guys in a few days. I'm very tired. Please don't make me do the song. Hardest part of the ring.